All right, folks, last time we left off, we had this list of products and we need to make it look pretty. So let's build ourselves a card to display these items. And let's do it in our own widget. So we'll add a widget. So inside the widget folder, we'll add one called card.dart. And we'll make it a class of, we'll make it a stateless widget. So if you want to use the STL shortcut, we will call it app card. And we do need to import Material or Cupertino or one of those to give us the basics that we need. And just so we can see what we're doing on the screen, let's go back to products real quick and let's just take out this text and let's replace it with app card and make sure we import that. That's passing back nothing right now, so that's okay. We'll fix that. Actually, I just needed to save it, and that fixed it. All right, so what I'm picturing in this card is we will have a row. The row will have an image to the left, and then it will have a column with 3 different text fields, all part of that row. So there'll be the image here, and then there'll be the title, the price per unit, and whether that's available. And then at the very bottom, stretching the whole thing, will be a space for notes if we want to use them. So I have given you a PNG in the description of this video. Go ahead and download that. And I would like to move that into our assets images folder. And it should be called vegetables. There we go. And that'll be our placeholder. So eventually we'll give people the ability to upload their own images for that product. But if they don't, or in the meantime, we've got this placeholder here. And so to get the effect that I'm looking for, first of all, I need a column. So I'll need a column that will have the row that has the image and the 3 pieces of text we talked about. And then the second part of that column will be a text field with the just the notes down at the bottom. So I'll give myself a child on this container. I want to keep the container because I want to use that to establish a border around it at the end. So the child will be a column. And it will have children. And the children, the first child, will be a row. And that row will have its own children. And the first child of that row will be an image asset. And we are going into assets / images / vegetables. .png. I'll save that. Looks a little large. So let's give it a height property, and I'm going to give it a height of 100, and that will kind of scale it up. All right. The second child of that row will be a column, and that will be a column that will hold all of the text items. So I want to move that to its own row. And so we'll give it a text that says product name, and a text that is price per unit, and a text that is in stock. And also going to do one that says currently unavailable, and we will show one or the other of these depending on the available unit count. And so let me save that. So there we go. And then for this column here, after the row, I want a text widget, and this is the note space. All right. So that is our card. It looks a little ugly, so let's take care of that now. So let's start with giving ourselves some paddings and some margin and a border around these cards so we can kind of tell where one starts and one ends. So for margin, I'm just going to call them the base styles list padding. Even though it says padding, it contains a set of values on the top and bottom that we're using throughout this application. And then for the padding, I'm also going to do base styles dot list padding. So there'll be some space inside the card and on the outside of the card. I'm going to add a decoration, so we'll do a box decoration, and this will give us a border around it. So I'm going to start with let's do the border property. And so for border, we'll do border all. And for colors, I'm going to let's do app colors. We'll bring that in. Let's do the dark blue there. And then for the width, we have a base style we can call on there. So we can call on base styles.border width. And I'll save that. All right, so that is boxy. So we can come outside of border and we can give it a border radius property. And that can be border radius dot circular, and we can give it a radius, and we will just call on our base styles dot border radius for that, so we're consistent. Save that, see how we're looking, and that looks pretty good. I think I would like to add a drop shadow to that, so that would be inside of the box decoration. I want to add a box shadow. And so we have a shadow property all set. We call base styles, and we have a box shadow all ready to go. So I'll save that. When you do that, you do need to specify the color of the box decoration so that the shadow doesn't run over the whole thing. So let's do colors.white. Just kind of set that back where it was. So we've got white here. We can see a little bit of a shadow around there. That's good. Let's see what else we might want to do. So all of these texts should be aligned to the left. We don't want those centered. So for our column, actually this column here, which contains the text fields, let's give that a cross-axis alignment. So we'll do cross-axis alignment start. That looks better. I think this image could use some padding around that. So let's just wrap that with padding. Let's see how that looks. That looks better. I might go 10 there. That's pretty good. So some style on this text would be a good thing. That's just the default text. So for product name, let's do style. And let's bring in our text styles. And for that, let's try title. That is definitely too big, so let's try subtitle. And that's better. Now for price per unit, let's bring in a style there. And let's do text styles.body. And that is that dark gray, sizes it up there. For in stock, I think that the light blue would go well there, probably the same size as this price per unit. And so if we go style, text styles, on the body, we don't really have anything that I want to use there. What I'd like is the same text and style here, but just a different color. And I probably want that for the unavailable too. So I think light blue would work here for in stock, and then the red would work fine for the currently unavailable. So let's go to our styles and let's give ourselves a text style to work with. So we go to styles, we go to text. I want body, I want the Roboto, I want that font size, I want everything except the color. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it twice. Because I want a body that is light blue and a body red. And the only thing I'm going to change here is the colors. Light blue there, red here. All right. So if we go back to widgets and we go to card, now I can fill in my text style. I want this to be body light blue. I want this, if it's unavailable, to be style, text styles, body red. And down here in our note space, why don't we do style text styles dot body. So that can be the same as this here. Okay, so this is one or the other, so the in stock or the currently unavailable will show. I feel like there's a little too much space over here on the padding of the image. So rather than all, I think I'm going to do only, and I'll do right. And let's just take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, I do want to add, I don't mind the top so much. I think the bottom, though, just needs a little bit of space. So let's do that as 10. See what that gets us. And I think I will do top 10 just to see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's good. And I just don't really want the left is what I ultimately ended up not wanting. So that looks good. These are hard-coded values. And so let's actually pass in real values. So if we come up to the top and we create some final variables that we can, whoa, not that. Anything but that button. We can pass in final string product name. We'll take that. We will take a final string of unit type. We will want a final integer of available units. And a final double price. And also final string note. All right, that means we need a constructor, so let's do that. And it'll be a name constructor, so do some curly braces, and I'm going to do each one on its own line. I'm going to do at required, this dot product name, at required, this dot unit type, at required, this dot available units, at required, this dot price, and then just this dot note. So the note is optional, which is good because we don't actually have one at this point. And if they don't pass in anything, I don't want it to be null because our text widget will flip out. And so we will just make it a blank string. Make sure we get our semicolon down there. And we should be good to come down here and replace these with product name. Need a T there. Let's do, well, we can keep in stock and we can keep currently available. And so above that, though, let's just add a clause where we check the available units. And if they're greater than 0, then we will display our in stock, and if they're not, we will display our currently unavailable. We can ditch that comma because we're showing one or the other. Shouldn't hit save there because I completely broke it, but we're going to do text, or we're going to do the note field here, And so the only thing we have left is this price per unit. And so I'm going to format that as currency. And so up at the top here, I'm going to bring in that international package. So we'll do a final. I'm going to create a variable called format currency. And I'm going to set that equal to number format simple currency. And if you just leave it like that, it will take your local value. So wherever you are, if you want to specify a locale, you can do that by, well, let me put some numbers here on the screen, and then we can actually play with it and see what's going on. So down in here, in our price per unit, so let's get in here and let's do an interpolated string. We will do some a $ and some brackets, and I'll do format currency dot format, and we will pass in the price. We'll do a /sign, and then we'll do $ unit type. All right, so let's go fix our products page. If we go back to widgets and we go back to products, let's fix that before we mess with the currency there. So app card now requires available units. So I can pass it available units. It also requires price. So I can pass it product.price, unit price. It requires product name. So we'll pass it product name. It requires unit type, so we'll pass that in there. And now it's happy. So there we see the title, we see the price per unit, we see whether it's in stock or out of stock. I'm just going to go to my Firestore database and change my corn available units to 0. And I can see currently unavailable there. So that works. I'm going to put 3 available units and update that, and we should see it change instantly on the screen, which is pretty snazzy. And so that's mostly going to cut it for today. I just go back here to this simple currency. Let me just finish my thought here on this widget card. If you want to do something other than the specified, you can specify locale, or if you want to do something other than the default location of where you are, you can specify a locale, and that's a string, and you need to find yourself. You can Google locale codes, and most of them are going to come in with a dash in them, but they this Dart is going to want an underscore, and they kind of vary in their capitalization. Just go all lowercase, and it will work with this package. So if I want to do British pounds, I can do that. There's let's see if I can remember the one for the euro. I think it's EUES. So there you go there. And so I'm just going to take that back out. I'm in America, so I will end up with US dollars. All right, guys, that's all for today. We now have the cards. The next step will be to click on these cards and have it take us back to this page, but in an edit mode, so that this is loaded up. It will say edit product, or maybe even edit the product title name up here. All the values will fill in and we can edit it. So that'll be next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.